All right, so welcome to today's video. I'm not going to do any crazy intro or anything like that. Basically, I decided in 2023 to pick up a DSLR. And not just any DSLR, a DSLR that is 13 years old. This thing is the Nikon D7000. It came out in 2010. I actually bought one of these brand new back when they first came out in 2010. It served me well for about 4 or 5 years, and then I kind of sold it, went on to other brands and stuff. I always missed it. Why would you get a DSLR in 2021? Mirrorless is the future. Mirrorless is the way to go. As much as I agree with that, there's just something about a DSLR, just the way it works, the click you get, the sound you get. No, if you're using it for video, not the greatest tool for the job. Mirrorless trumps it, just hands down. It's not even in competition. But first of all, is it viable? Is it a viable option to not only get a DSLR, but a crop sensor DSLR in this day and age? For me, there's a couple benefits to doing so. One, if you know what you're doing with the camera, pretty much you can get any results you want, especially with editing software nowadays. And the new Lightroom features, as far as like your new noise reduction AI features, it's incredible what you can do. I'll put some pictures up on the screen, but benefit number one is they're cheap. I picked this up for $300 Canadian, by the way, and it had maybe 10,000 clicks on it, which I think the shutter's rated for 150 to 200,000. So like, you're less than 8% of your shutter life already. So basically this camera body was brand new. It might be a little bit harder finding professional bodies like D800s, D750s, D810s, D850s, that sort of thing, because bodies that are used by professionals, they're going to have a high shutter count on them. Anything in kind of a crop sensor or DX, there's a good chance you can find something where someone bought it for a vacation, took it out a couple times, and then kind of just discarded it, put it into a drawer, put it on a shelf, whatever, and left it. And that's actually what happened here with this one. So basically it's a brand new body. Number two, as far as sensor goes, marketing does go a long way. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've been around the block as far as like different camera brands go and different camera formats. So yes, I started with a DSLR, then I went Sony mirrorless for a couple years. I went to Lumix, Panasonic after that. Never did get into Canon. I don't know why, just they didn't really resonate with me. So I know I'm going to get a lot of Canon fanboy hate on that one. But nevertheless, the sensor actually is still very good in this camera and any of their 7000 series cameras. They have pretty much all the buttons you want. I love the button layout, and the sensor can still hold 13.9 stops of dynamic range, which, yes, the new sensors can kind of get like 15, 14, whatever. In real world tests, I actually haven't found it to be that much of a difference. The editing style that's out there on like Instagram and that sort of thing, they buy these cameras with super high dynamic range capabilities, and then they like go to like 2 color palettes, 3 color palettes, they wash out or they blow out the sky. So any benefit of having that extra dynamic range and then being able to pull the sky back or pull shadows up and stuff, I just find a lot of people are like crushing shadows or blowing out skies for like that bloom effect where you get like the nice sunburst or whatever on those landscape shots. And if you are into sort of like landscape and stuff, you have neutral density filters, graduated neutral density filters. You can do HDR. You can do exposure blending. There's a bunch of different options to kind of get the exposure latitude you would need with today's software and stuff. So that's kind of mitigated as far as the advancements in newer technology. The other thing I found, the biggest gripe I found with the mirrorless bodies, and this is where marketing comes into play, and it's almost like I felt duped because I bought into the Sony system because I love the original A7. I loved how small it was. It was almost like the old Nikon like FE and FM film cameras. Just super small, really thin, really compact, but the lenses are huge. And I just found everything felt very front heavy. Like you put a huge lens on this like tiny camera body and everything wants to just feel like it's going forward. It feels really unbalanced as far as the new mirrorless systems go. If they made a mirrorless body, actually they did, now that I think of it, the new Z8 from Nikon that just came out. Unpopular opinion, I love a chunkier body. So that's the number 2 reason, 3 reason, I don't even know what reason I'm on anymore. But I do like a bigger body and a chunkier body. Mind you, the D7000 is actually a small-ish body size. I mean, if you get into the full frame stuff, they're a lot bigger. D850s, they're big honking sort of bodies, but they feel balanced when you put bigger lenses on them. Mind you, okay, we'll discard the 18 to 55, but like you put 1.4, you put 1.8, 1.4 glass on there, you put in any sort of zooms, 2.8 zooms, f4 zooms, they just balance really well with the camera body. And I like the chunkier feel. I love the more substantial feel that they have. But the biggest thing for me that I don't really like with the new mirrorless bodies, I love the buttons. Everything, there was buttons for every function on DSLRs. It's full of buttons. Everything's external as opposed to the new like menu based stuff that the new mirrorless are kind of going into. So I don't know what it is. I did have mirrorless, but I've almost fallen in love again with photography, just as far as the process goes and the experience using a DSLR. And for my needs, I can get the photos I want and the quality I want with more of my knowledge and lighting capabilities than relying on a new body. Like I would recommend investing into glass, get good glass and get good lighting setups. I know everyone loves to do the high ISO and this and that, but if you're doing high ISO in like really bad lighting or really just overall even lighting, no matter the capabilities and noiseless images you'll get, you're not going to get the look that you're after. Where you add flash in, or you add strobe or lighting, or you wait for that certain time of day, that's going to make more of an impact and more of a difference on your photos than having a high megapixel count and having just high ISO capabilities. So in 2023, is this the choice for everyone? No. If you are into video, is this the choice for you? No. Mind you, if you are someone who knows the limitations and can work around them, or has more of a professional knowledge on different aspects of photography, being that the body's actually probably like one of the least important aspects of your whole kit. And when I say kit, I mean lighting, lenses, looks, that sort of thing, composition, just overall knowledge of the field of photography. And you know what? Being $300, if I drop this, if I break it, if I go traveling and it gets stolen, it's $300. I can buy a new one. They're secondhand. They're out everywhere right now. Go buy a shiny new Z8, which honestly I would love. That's the first body that I'm actually like, the size is good, the features are there. But if I'm traveling and it gets stolen, or if I drop it into water doing a waterfall shoot or anything like that, you're out quite a bit more money. I would rather take my money and put it into experiences where I can actually take this and enjoy it and not feel like I have to baby it. I want to put this thing into different scenarios and rugged scenarios and not have to worry about my gear, instead of worrying about the composition and getting the photograph that I want. That's just my kind of thoughts on buying a DSLR in 2023. Is it still viable? Absolutely. The focusing is still incredibly fast for what it is. Menu system still there. Battery life has to be the number one thing. I love the battery life you get with DSLRs because you can have the camera on. The LCD screen at the top takes basically zero battery. Like it's nothing. It'll run forever, it seems like. And it really only uses battery if you go into live view mode or if you take the picture, which is like a fraction of a second. Yeah, just the overall benefits seem to be outweighing the negatives with the lenses you can buy. Everyone's going mirrorless, so f-mount lenses are pretty cheap now. You can pick them up pretty readily. And you know what? It's still great glass. It's still great system. Just marketing seems to have everyone pushed to these super small bodies but super big lenses, and everyone wants these f2s or f1.2s and f1.4s and stuff. Regardless, if you want to get into photography, don't hesitate to pick up one of these older bodies. They still work great. They still do the job. They're going to teach you more about the fundamentals of photography. You still have all your basic photographic needs: ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and you're going to learn more compositionally. And then later on, if you do decide go professional or you want to start a business or anything like that, and you can justify and afford going mirrorless, I find that's more of a want than a need, but to each their own sort of thing. On that note, I am going to end this video there. I hope it helps someone out there just to kind of get out of that gear acquisition syndrome, GAS for short. But I've been there, and I know what it is. You kind of get into this constant needing the latest and greatest gear, and you don't. And I find myself happier with older stuff that I don't care really bashing around too much. I find my shots end up being better at the end of the day. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helped someone out there. If you have any other recommendations or concerns or questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to help answer them or make a future video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to subscribe and follow along with the channel, that'd be great and much appreciated. And if you do, then we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.